more conscientious of what I am letting get on my skin. So I'm checking body washes. And by the way, the hair Bodilab, insane. And I thought I was gonna just love the skincare. And then they got me on the shampoo and the liquid conditioner. I mean, I could go on and on. I just want you to hear the real raw. This wasn't planned. I just wanted to share my excitement about what we're bringing out to the world. Also, cushion foundation. I was already using a Japanese cushion foundation when I got involved in Riman. And so it's another brand, but I fell in love with it. And people would say to me, like, what are you using on your skin? And I'm like, it's K Beauty, not knowing this was going to come into my life. And then when I found out that from corporate that they were doing lip oils and all that, I was like, this is like a dream come true to have a company be this well run, already be doing billions in another country before coming here. So it wasn't really truly in my mind a startup, right? There's so much proof that it works. And by the way, how many people don't want to look and feel better without having to do much, right? So that's what I wanted to share on my little Riman testimonial, because I am blown away by it. So now Jen has me doing the X line. I do both. So I use the morning one, I use the white, and sometimes I flip around, but I'm always like trying new things and I love it. And it's just, for me, it's been really cool to see, because I started noticing a lot of problems in my mid 40s. I was like, what is happening to me? The glow and everything has just been an extraordinary addition. And wearing no makeup all day, mostly in the house, I really see a difference. So congratulations to you guys for being in the right company. But tonight I'm going to hit you hard, which is what I'm known for, on the mindset side, because you can be in the best company. You can have the best audience. You can be in at the right time and you can literally do nothing. And it is called self-sabotage. So if you haven't heard me train before, this is what I love to talk about and train on, because I believe the distance between your 2 ears is really the distance between whether or not you're going to win at anything you're doing, or if you're going to survive or you're going to thrive. And so it's really important. 17 years of me studying this, I'm giving you the golden nuggets tonight that I think are super important, because at the end of the day, you have all these pieces that I just laid out for you that are extraordinary. And by the way, the amazing leadership that Riman is attracting is not by accident. There's a reason why so many leaders are dropping everything to come here. But at the end of the day, I'm about the little guy. And so I have seen a lot in the industry that I've struggled with. I call it the heaven and hell of direct selling, right? The heaven is it gives you, if you really work it and you get in the right company at the right time and you have hustle and heart and perseverance and you just keep getting the no's and you go after those no's, you're going to build something great over time. But the majority of people don't have the stick to itness, right? Or don't have the hustle and heart. And here's why. It's because of the subconscious or unconscious programming. Just put a little emoji or your hand up if you have studied the subconscious mind and unconscious mind. I just want to get a feel. One, looking here for two. Is that Amber? Okay, Amber, I like that color on you. Okay, so not many. Okay, well then good. Because I have two books in front of me that I recommend books all the time, but you don't have to go buy one. I'm not telling you to go spend money. You can literally just take what I give you today and go into YouTube and type these words in, and you can find training after training. You can go to Motiversity, the app, and you can find a training on this. You don't need to spend the cash, but my favorite new author and personal development leader, you can go find her on Instagram, Brianna Wiest, or Weist, Wiest. I bought her 4-book bundle. This is the second one. It's called The Mountain Is You. This is a game changer. So I'm going to give you a couple things out of here tonight that I think are really extraordinary paradigm shifter type pieces of information that should completely shift how you think. And when you start to think different, and you'll start to move different. You don't move first and then think different, right? You've got to think first and then you'll follow. Whatever way your thoughts are going is the way your actions will follow. So if you feel like, and be honest, I love when people are honest, I'm real and raw. If you're not picking up the phone or you're not actively building the business and you're kind of kicking yourself, or you're maybe condemning yourself for not working hard enough or putting in the right time. I see some people shaking their heads. That's number one, normal. You're normal. There's nothing wrong with you. But we can get you easily without having to lift a finger, get you to have a paradigm shift tonight that will set you on a path where you'll naturally be picking up the phone or posting more or being more courageous, because those are the characteristics that you need to have in order to become super successful. So I tell people all the time, if you don't know my story, I grew up dirt poor, like broken family, very dysfunctional. Dad was a raging alcoholic. Tracy knows all this. Everyone was crazy in my family, lots of dysfunction, violence, all the things you don't want to grow up with, negative programming, all that stuff. However, when I hit 31, I met someone when I was hitting rock bottom in life, and she said, your problem is it's your subconscious programming. And I'm like, come again? Like, I'm just here for you to tell me that everyone around me is going to get better so I can feel better. Like, when they change and they stop being crazy, I'll feel better. Has everyone ever said that? Like, if this person would just be not so dysfunctional, I could, finally live a happy, healthy life. And she was like, no, honey, that's not how it goes. And I was like, you're killing me. So, but I listened because I wanted a breakthrough. And that's how my journey started all those years ago. And I just dug into this stuff, and it never stopped being something that I literally gorged on, just jumped in and went after it. And so there aren't many people that will typically do that, but that's where this comes in. This training tonight is to get you to have that initial shift, and then put you on a path where your mind is being nourished just like your skin is being nourished. Your hair is being nourished by the products. Don't forget your mind. Your mind is really important. And by the way, when I found out that what Riman means rebirth, I almost fell off my chair. Where I'm at corporate and they're like, it means rebirth. And I'm like, literally, that's what that's what I coach people on. That's what I mentor people on, is no matter where you're at in life, you can rebirth. You can do great things, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. I don't care. Some of the greats that we know out there that have written books or become, chefs, they've done it in their 40s, 50s, and 60s when wisdom starts hitting, right? It takes a long time for us to get our crap together. And then all of a sudden our skin is hanging, or we're like, I wish I had this wisdom when I was young and looked good, right? When I had that tight skin and, I felt good and I was in the right dress size. And so it's funny for me, people come to me and they're like, now I'm getting my mind right and I have all this inherent joy and I feel free and I'm starting to win, but now everything's a mess. And I'm like, there's stuff for that. So it's really awesome tonight that you're spending some time on this, because this book, which I'm going to go into first, I'm just going to give you a piece, like I always theme it out and chunk it out. But then this book, I don't know if you can see, this is Bob Proctor passed away before I ever had the chance to go see him in Canada. And I actually wept because I saw him in New York City probably about 9-10 years ago. And it was a life-changing experience. Someone invited me. I was like, I've always wanted to see Bob live. It was an absolutely amazing experience. Almost everyone in the room was a millionaire. I didn't know that. So I'm sitting there like, yeah, I'm not making great money. I'm making okay money, but I'm sitting there and everyone's donating money. I'll jump in for 20 grand. I'm like, oh my God, like I'll donate 500, but people were standing up going, I'll put 50,000 in. And I'm like, what kind of conference is this? Like, what's happening? And that was the day my mind changed about money, because Bob stood up in the front. And if you don't know Bob, you need to know Bob. Bob should be your best friend, Bob Proctor. There are so many YouTubes that you don't even need to buy his books at the beginning. But when he said your imagination is where it's all starting, and you can actually visualize, if you become someone who just visualize what you want, visualize, that visualization is such a powerful thing, but he calls it imagination. What's the first thing they tell us in school when we're looking up and we're daydreaming? Stop. No more of that. That is inherently where you can build your entire Riman business without lifting a finger. I want you to, just for a moment, before we jump into the subconscious programming, I want you to all close your eyes. I'm going to bring you through a quick exercise. If your goal is to be at Riman and just rock this, make this a stream of income that really truly transforms your life, transforms your finances. If you are that person and you're here for that, great. If you're here and you're just like, dude, I'm just trying to get by, like 500 a month would change my life, God bless, let's stick with that. But for the rest of you, if you're over here going, I see the big vision of this, then I want you to shut your eyes and do one thing for me. I want you to visualize people. And I want you to zoom out so that you are looking over the earth and you're zooming back in, and you can see the United States, You can see other countries. Don't care the names of the countries. Don't care if you suck at geography. But I want you to see little people everywhere on that map. You guys seeing them? Yes? Shake your heads. You see all these little people, just you can see into the top of their house. There's no roof on their house. And there are thousands of them in the United States, in every country that, excuse me, in every state. And then in other countries, zoom over to Australia, zoom over to, this is like a mind movie I'm walking you through. This is one of the most powerful ways to shift your consciousness and actually start to understand that you are limitless. And that's tonight, my goal is for you to feel limitless and understand that even though I give this to you tonight and you're going to be on fire, you may not at some point in the next week feel like you're back doing this, because this is something that requires repetition. So eyes are shut, mind movie. You are moving across, you're just looking over the earth and you're seeing thousands of people on your team. Okay. So whatever the name of your team is, name your team. But your team is popping up in different countries. And I know Riman is open in numerous countries, but I want you to walk through and go, those people, their lives have changed. Some of them, their finances have changed. They're being positively affected because your group, your team has continued to persevere and have grand vision for owning market share. Okay, open your eyes. How much market share did you grab? Some of you, I think you saw tens of thousands of people. Raise your hand if you saw like stadium full type people. I want to see who my big dreamers are. Well, of course, my besties. Yes. All right. I know Brianna is, of course, she's going to raise her hand. Good, good, good. So if you saw that, you have less subconscious programming to rewire than others. That was a simple way of finding out if someone on your team is struggling with belief and worthiness. Are we getting this? So I can see when I shut my eyes, what I couldn't see years ago, I can see now. I can see when I launched my brand, which is just a personal development brand. I can see that. And I've already said, I've declared it. I've declared we're going to go into numerous countries and we're going to affect numerous households for generations to come. And so I've set that goal. I've spoke it out, but I shut my eyes and see us moving into Canada. I see us. I don't care what negative programming is there. I override it, not because I'm trying to use willpower, but because I'm visualizing what I'd like to see come to fruition. That is the key to really, truly understanding if you have a limited mindset, a severely limited mindset, or if you're pretty close to some great things happening in your life. Did that help you to understand? You can do this with your teams, and I encourage you to. So Jen's saying half the battle, because you have to, it's half the battle just to believe that you're worthy enough to have it. So let's jump in on the mountain is you, because I'm in love with this woman and I'm hoping that she responds to me or her agent or whoever her manager is, because I would like to have her speak at my company. And I would love, love, love for you guys to get to know who this woman is. She has authored numerous books. She basically came from a life of a lot of trauma and ugliness and has revamped her entire life. And now she is changing lives because she has real purpose. And so here is a little bit, if you have a pen, it's important to write a few things down. I'm going to read you something that is super powerful. Chapter 1, it says, the mountain is you. There is nothing holding you back in life more than yourself. Do we all agree? I know it's a hard thing to say, especially when we have a negative spouse or somebody who doesn't support us or people who make fun of the industry we're in. It's easy to say, well, if they would all be nice to me, I would feel more confident. No, we have to be more confident in the face of negativity and people that are dream stealers. So it says here in the second paragraph, if there's an ongoing gap between where you are and where you want to be, and your efforts to close it are consistently met with your own resistance, pain, and discomfort, self-sabotage is almost always at work. Now, in all the years I've been doing this, I can tell you America, hands down, of all the countries I've spoken in, all the teams I've had, I've never seen more self-sabotage than Americans. Sorry. We have a lot of negative programming through our media. So I want to make you aware, this is a gold mine here for Riman and for network marketing and direct selling. But it also is one of the hardest places to build for one reason, because there's so much coming at people with negative, not just social norms and all that going on, but just the negative stuff that's out there. So I encourage you to go to your Facebook page, go to your Instagram and start following. I go to TikTok and I follow probably over 1,000 motivation and entrepreneurial pages. And I let that stuff sink in every day. There's so much of it on my phone. Like my bestie, we send ourselves the stupid best friend stuff, or where we want to travel in Italy and where we want to go. We dream build too. But social media can be harnessed to actually build your visual, like you're dreaming, and get your dream board in your head really, really alive. But it also can hinder you. So I want you to be ultra conscious, make the commitment today that after this, you will start flipping past or unfollowing those who put up all the stuff that is going to muck up your mind, because we need your minds as good looking as your skin. I want you to say your mind is very fertile, but if it's not good soil, that isn't going to translate into you being able to open your eyes one day and say, holy cow, I have 50,000 people in America in my group. And wait, I have 100,000 people in, Taiwan and Hong Kong. I watched that happen, but I also saw it before it ever happened. I did the work to visualize it. And one day I woke up, Tracy walked through this with me. Jen, I don't remember if you were around then, but one day I woke up, I had 400,000 active members on a 618,000 member downline in one company in less than 4 years. And I got to tell you, that was a great product. This is better, and it's more affordable, and it's vanity. Okay, people will pay to look good and feel good, and the added bonuses, it's freaking good for you. Your skin isn't getting pummeled. I don't see enough of you. I'm sorry, I don't see enough of you talking about how there's 300, what is it, 3,000 banned and toxic ingredients that aren't in Riman. You just sold me, because when my girlfriend posted about it, when she said it's clean skincare, but it's transformational, I went, most of the clean skincare isn't transformational, which is why I end up buying stuff that has junk in it sometimes, because I want the result. When I knew I could get both, she had me sold. Every one of you should have wrote that down, because that is how you get someone to pick up their credit card and try this amazing skincare line. Most people right now want to know that it's clean, and it's not going to continue all the poison from the air and all the food, all the stuff going on in our lives. Americans are very, very either conscious or completely not conscious of that. And you guys have a chance to go grab one of the verticals, which are women and men who are becoming really, really smart about what they put in their bodies and on their skin, on their hair, right, on their scalp. But going back to what I said earlier about subconscious mind and the mountain is you, a lot of people say to me, I don't self-sabotage. Those are usually the people who are self-sabotaging. So I would say, even myself, all these years later, there are areas that I probably I'm not even aware that I'm possibly self-sabotaging. Because again, it comes from your unconscious mind, not your conscious thoughts. So let me make you a little bit aware of this, and then we'll jump to the next page. So there is a page, write this down if you're going to end up getting this book. Page 15. This is the piece that really rocked my world that I trained a group on recently, and they loved it. So self-sabotage comes from unconscious negative association. Stuff that we're not even conscious has been programmed into us. Could be, like I said, friends, family, stuff we're reading. But unconscious programming is far more damning than conscious programming. But typically it's what you think consciously that's negative that ends up being put into your unconscious mind, and it sits there and it's programming you and it's working against you. Okay. So self-sabotage is one of the first signs that your inner narrative is outdated, limiting, or simply incorrect. Your life is defined not only by what you think about it, but also what you think of yourself. That's a big one. Ouch. I want to see some really real people here. It's important to be authentic. How much do you love yourself? I used to, on a scale of 1 to 10, after how I grew up and everything that I learned to be critical and self-doubting, I would say Tracy and I both walked through it. We've been besties for what, 22, 23 years now? I don't even know. We went from single moms and cute to married and kids, and we've been through it all. But I will tell you, our mindsets back then aren't what they are now. We have learned over time that we were working against ourselves and not loving ourselves enough. There was nothing wrong with loving yourself, but I will tell you, I was probably a 2. It's pretty bad. I didn't think I was worthy of anything good. And I love the comments. Keep that coming, because afterwards I'm going to read all your comments when I get the recording. But I have to say, a lot of people will say to me, "Oh, I love myself," and then in the next breath, they're like, "Oh my God, I hate my nose. Oh, I look fat today." That is the kind of talk you gotta stop. It's super easy. I would say I'm at an 8.5 now. That is tremendous self work for myself to actually really say, okay, I don't look down on myself physically, right? But that comes from what? Making conscious thoughts and declarations. You're going to do the same thing in your business, and you're going to do the same thing with money. Money is a whole nother, it's a whole nother area where people are programmed incorrectly. And I've found that, and I know, Tim, you've built big businesses, right? Would you agree that you find a lot of people don't have a healthy relationship with either becoming successful, the fear of success, or fear of failure, or thinking that money is inherently evil, when actually it's what you do with money that's good or evil? Do you feel like you've seen that a lot in your groups?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So for me, what I've seen is someone usually saying, "Hey, I don't like, I don't think I have time. Nobody listens to me. I don't know anyone with money." Do we all have people in our group like that? Those are the ones that should be focused. And this is Eric Worre saying this. I'm just repeating it. Those are the ones you need doing more mindset training than skill set training, because they either are going to lie to you and they're not picking up the phone, and they're just coming in again to train, but they haven't done a darn thing and they haven't made any money. And you're spinning your wheels like I hope there's no Marys on here. Mary shows up every week, but Mary hasn't made a paycheck and she's mad at me now. And so I've lived that life for 15 years, watching people be angry at me or angry at the company or angry at how low, slow the shipping is. And at the end of the day, they haven't yet done what? Believed that they're worthy and visualized that it can really happen for them. I want you guys to work on your subconscious programming, because this is going to shift your life in so many ways. When we self sabotage, it's often because we have a negative association between achieving the goal we aspire to and being the kind of person who has or does that thing. If your issue is that you want to be financially stable and yet you keep ruining every effort to make you get there, you have to go back to your concept of money. How did your parents manage their finances? Oh, don't get me into that one. More importantly, what did they tell you about people who had it and people who didn't have money? Many people who struggle financially will justify their place in life by disavowing money as a whole. They will say that all rich people are terrible. If you grew up with people who told you your entire life that people who have money are that way, guess what? You're going to resist having and not even know it, right? Okay, so I'm giving you tonight is just a deep dive into subconscious, but really the way this is sticky, the way this continues to help you have breakthroughs so that you can move towards a better paycheck, a bigger team, more customers, is to make sure that you guys don't say, "That was a great thing we did with Danielle, was awesome. Let's do it again in 6 weeks." You've got to do a little bit every day, and you have to be what? Self-motivated. Self-motivated people, actually self-disciplined people, make fortunes, because if you can self motivate, Jim Rohn, I'm quoting him, you can self motivate, you can make anything happen, but you have to have that vision. Your anxiety around the issue of money or any issue that you're self sabotaging is usually a reflection of a limiting belief. So I want you to do something interactive right now. I don't like to train and just speak at people. Could you, in the comments, if you're open, put one limiting belief that you know is holding you back in life? It doesn't have to be Riman, just in life. Like, "I just think I'm too old. I think I'm this. I don't think I'm that. I'm not smart enough." I'm just giving you some of the ones I hear often. "I'm not like Jen. I'm not smart enough. I don't have support at home." Put a limiting belief in that you hear in your head. "I don't have time." Thank you, Natalie. That's a big one. That one I can destroy in 5 seconds, but I love that you said that, because it's very common to assume we don't have time. "I'm not good enough." That's a big one. Paula, you are good enough. I want you to say it. Jen Miller, "I'm not skinny enough." I think that's Jen. Sorry. Jen Miller. Yeah. Okay. Jen Barsamian, "I'm too old. I'm too fat. My skin is this. I'm not a good on the spot speaker." Kathy, that's a good one. Fear of I don't know what to say. That's a big one. So let me teach you how to turn that one limiting belief around overnight. You're going to write down the exact opposite of what you just said to me. So let's take I'm too old. I am youthful. I am strong. I have my best years ahead of me. You say that every freaking day, you soon start to believe it. Your subconscious mind, there's a science to it. This isn't hocus pocus. It's a real science to neural pathways. There's a science. If you don't know about neuroplasticity, your brain is able to be changed and thoughts can be rewired. And it only takes a little bit every day. If you made a commitment today to do a little every day for the next 30 days, I'm telling you next month, your Riman business will have more people in it because you will have shifted a paradigm in your life. Because that one limiting belief is probably, because it came to your mind first, probably one of the strongest ones. I don't like rejection. Still working on it. 49 years later, still don't like being invalidated and don't like rejection. Well, I grew up with a lot of people around me who invalidated me and my sister, rejected me and my sister, didn't really give us a voice in that household, didn't really care what we had to say. Okay. I say that not for pity, don't really care anymore. I'm completely and utterly over it, but I'm using it as an example to show you that I worked around that limiting belief. So what I did was I started using social media. Jen knows this. I created an entire empire online after I learned at one of the Eric Worre conferences that I didn't have to pick up the phone and get rejected anymore. And I was like, come again? And I'm sitting there broke in VIP with $2,000 of tickets and VIP and hotel and flight on my credit card, more in debt than ever before. But I'm determined to make it in network marketing. I think it was about 10, 12 years ago. And it was probably 3, 4 years into my journey. And within a year and 8 months, I was making 7 figures a year from that, because I came home and said, when I tell you I was making 148,000 a month in August of 2018, overnight, I went from zero to millions. And it wasn't anything I did. I didn't change a company. I didn't do anything other than shift how I taught my team. This is the gold right here. I started working on their minds. I started saying, you know what, guys, you all love this product and love this company. The problem is you don't love yourselves. You don't believe in yourselves, and you're spinning your circles. You're going to go buy a starter pack at another company. And in another year, you're going to turn around. You're going to have 5 more starter packs, and you have all this wasted money and all this wasted time. And you're all going around the same mountain. Am I wrong? And they're like, you're right. So teach us. And I'm like, I'm just going to teach you what I learned from Eric Worre at the event. And he said, if you go to social media and you have a plan and you use the count, all I did was I took home what they gave me. It was gold. And I started that social media calendar, and I started building on social media, dropping information like you drop a fishing line into a pond. The people who said, send me info, all of you know this, send me info. I'd privately send it to them. And then whoever wanted, great. And whoever didn't, I'm good if you ghost me, but I'm not going to hate you. I'm going to love you anyway. And I'm going to keep building my business. And I just decided that I was going to work in social media and I was going to train my team on mindset. Because once several of them had major shifts in believing that they were good enough and believing that they were capable, they started, and I'm not kidding. I saw people start making 4 and 5 figure checks in a week, not a month. And it was like my mind was being blown, literally, pun intended. I couldn't believe how fast the mindset stuff was being gobbled up by everyone. We just all went wild on it. So I started teaching one night a week, and it was an hour a week, and they showed up in droves. They're like, okay, what do you got for us today? And I was like, today we're talking about gratitude. We're going to walk around and be grateful. We're going to be grateful to people who haven't even showed up yet. We're going to be grateful when we go to the grocery store because there's 15,000 people probably in that parking lot who've never heard about, let's say, Riman. I started getting them to have an abundance mindset instead of a poverty mindset. They started thinking that everywhere they went, there were prospects everywhere. Their minds started less limiting and having more vision. And everything came from one thing, making sure they understood that their mindset and their limiting beliefs were the only reasons why they were never going to make it big and they were never going to hit their financial goals. It wasn't because of how they looked or where they were born or who their parents were or how abused or not abused or how silver spoon they were in the mouth. It didn't matter. You know what I love about network marketing? It's a great equalizer. Everybody starts at the bottom. The PhD starts at the bottom. The person who grew up poverty stricken starts at the bottom. The person who's a pro football player starts at the bottom. Everybody starts on the bottom. That is what got me. It is the great equalizer. Nobody is leveraged. Everyone comes in at the same spot and has to do what? Have vision, declare what they want, visualize what they want, and then go out and be a great pay it forward leader. And if you don't like to teach, you don't like to train, guess what? There are people here at this group, in this group specifically, who can do what I'm doing, which is just take 30, 45 minutes out of the week, just get your team on. And then you will slowly do what I did. You start to glean more and learn more. And you one day are going to be like, I speak like Danelle. I started speaking like all the trainers I was following and mentors because I kept putting it in my brain. I have it in on my Sonos when I'm doing my hair and makeup. I'm listening to Eric Thomas, Les Brown. My husband's like, for the love of God, he came in the gym last week and I had on Motiversity and it was Eric Thomas screaming, you can do it. And I was like, and he was talking about business, but I was listening to it because it had me intensely fired up. So I look at my brain as a place where I have to constantly nourish it. I have to work against the negative programming. I have to work against everything that I always believed about myself that wasn't okay. And you are more than enough. You just don't even know it yet. And some of you do. And like, Danielle, I already know that. Great. Then go tell the people around you. Pay it forward. It is contagious when you start to see people become in love with who they are and what they're capable of. And once you know you're capable, you're unstoppable. And let me tell you something. When she said I'm an 8-figure earner, cumulative, never in the same year, there was a time years ago where I was like, I can't even picture getting to 8 figures. And my mentor said to me, I'll never forget it. He said, I don't ever want to hear you say that again. He said, you're limiting yourself. He goes, I see greatness in you. And I was like, glad you do. He's like, you're going to make 8 figures one day. And I'm like, I don't see it. Like I was stuck in my mind, stuck. And he goes, the problem is you keep saying you're stuck, therefore you will be stuck. He goes, I want you to stop saying it, make it like it's a foul word. And I did. And then I started going, I'm going to build it to China. Some people that were there for that may be on, maybe not. I kept saying my new phrase was, I'm going to build it to China. Guess who had the biggest team in China and the first team in China? I didn't even know we were going to open China in that country, in that company. It happens serendipitously. Usually it takes 10 years to open China. Remember, Jen? I'd be like, gonna build it to China because I was just like, let me say what I want to see. I wanted to get into China. I wanted to get into, so we had the biggest Asian team out of the whole company. A little over 300,000 of them were Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, Vietnam, Philippines, Singapore, places like I couldn't even imagine. And guess what? We did nothing different. We didn't hop planes. We didn't leave our houses. We went online. We built teams. We shared our victories. We shared our stories of great things, and we worked on our minds. We spent more time on our minds than we did on the product releases because the more our minds were prepped, the minute the release hit, we already believed we were going to put that out to the world. The next release for Riman, you should be declaring it now. Our team's going to sell. This sounds cocky, I know. We're going to sell the most lip oil. You're right, we are. We're going to sell the most Photolab. I hope I'm saying that right. I butcher all the names of this stuff. Forgive me. I want you to be so confident when you're walking around your house. You don't have to say it now on your team. I love Jen's like, there's Danielle. I'm getting fired up. I'm telling you, you got to walk around that house and be like, I am already great. I am worthy. I am on this earth to do great things. But first, I need to be able to pay my bills. It's really not good to go slide into the grave saying, I never accomplished anything and I was in massive debt, never really lived, never really saw the world, never had any real memories with my family, couldn't buy a nice steak, couldn't buy a nice side of salmon. Why? Because the majority of people go to their graves doing what? Shoulda, coulda, woulda. And the only thing that you need to understand about network marketing that is the most powerful thing I can tell you is it compresses time. Network marketing compresses time. You can do more in 3 years if you put your head down and don't look up. You could do more in the next 36 months here because of the timing and trajectory and market share that hasn't been built here. You could do more in the next 3 years here than you could do doing any other career. And that's what I want you to understand tonight is all the programming that we're going to work on, rewinding and rebuilding and rewiring you. That's the easy part. You, when I'm not looking, or when Jen's not looking, or Tim's not looking, or Brianna's not working, you guys saying to yourselves and being good coaches, you need to be your best coach. You need to be your best coach. And some of you like, I can't coach myself. I don't even know how to feed my dog. Well, you're going to have to learn. Because at the end of the day, it's how bad do you want it? I really actually don't care what your skills are. I'd rather recruit you if you weren't in the company. I would, Tim, do you agree with me? I'd rather recruit people with low skill set, but they believe in themselves and teach them the skills than have to tell someone who doesn't believe in themselves, who has great speaking skills, looks good, loves the product, but they just don't believe in themselves. They don't think they're worthy. It is so much harder to reprogram a mind than it is to build someone's skill on how to do a three-way call, how to do, how to use a funnel. So if you allow us to give you mindset training and you just plug your people in, you're going to be light years ahead of most direct sellers. Does that excite you? I hope it does. But at the end of the day, and I'm going to use some names, Jen Miller, Andrea Brown, Diane Thompson, Linda Matson, Francesca, I love that name. I have a Lorenzo at home and a Gianna. If I hear that you guys aren't, I want you to send a little video to whoever your upline leader is and be like, here's what I say to myself now because of what I learned on that call. And I want you to be like, I am the crap. I'm not going to swear, but you know what I'm saying? I am awesome. There is nothing wrong. People say, that's very prideful, Danelle. That's a sin. I'm a Christian woman. God wants me to believe that he put greatness in me, because then it's a waste. Why am I here? I am great. I don't have all the gifts, but there are things he put in me that maybe someone else doesn't have. And when the day I knew that I was good enough and that I have greatness in me, everything changed. Jen, when I met you, we were working together. What did we start telling our teams together in that previous company? Even though crap hit the fan, it was a nightmare at one point, right? And what do we keep saying? Why are our people staying? Because we were the ones always saying, we love you, you're good enough. Doesn't matter what's happening around us. We can continue to persevere. We're doing great things. We programmed them and ourselves for success. She had this is truth, highest retention rate, her and Dr. Rimka in the company that we worked in previously, because they also spoke life over their teams and over campaigns. When a promo's coming, guys, I'm not telling you to go sell a ton. I'm telling you you're going to sell. Do you see the difference? I'm not telling you to sell a ton. I'm telling you you're going to be massively successful. Therefore, I am helping program you and your army of people for success. And if you shoot for the moon, you hit a few stars, you're way ahead of 90% of anyone I've ever encountered in direct selling. I'm firing myself up. This is good stuff. Okay. I'm going to close it out with one. I can stay on all night, but I know you guys have lives. So I'm just going to give you one thing from Bob Proctor's book that I think is really powerful. But now Jen's going to be like, when are you going to train next? And I'm going to make the time, because I have all the time in the world. You see that? I'm actually like back to back, don't even know what day it is anymore because of the brand I'm putting together. But you know what? I always say there's plenty of time. And weirdly, I found the time to work out, strength train for 25 minutes today in my jeans, because I was like, I have the time, no excuses. The old Danelle was like, oh, I'm not going to work out, so I'll just eat some potato chips and feel bad about it. No, I declare that I have the time, declare that I'm going to get good sleep, declare that you have a good marriage, declare that you're going to have a great Thanksgiving, even though your uncle that you can't stand is going to be there, because he's going to be half drunk when he gets there. Get what I'm saying? You're going to declare that it's good. And because you declare it, your subconscious mind starts to do what? Accept it as truth. And it gets crazy when you start speaking life. Life is in the power of the tongue, right? Life and death. You can kill your business with what you say to you and your team, and you can build your business with just speaking life. So I want you to really, really get excited about speaking life. It's one of my favorite things. Okay. I even say to my husband, you're going to give great foot rubs tonight. And he's like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, but you're so good at it. And then I end up getting a foot rub. It's a beautiful thing. Okay. All right. So I want to get to one piece here that is incredibly important. And I want to close out with this. Chapter 1 is, for me, that piece right there that I'm going to give you that he has, and it doesn't even have a page number 1. It's right after the foreword. He tells you why you have the awesome power to change. He doesn't say you have the power to change. You have the awesome power to change. At any, here, Paula, it is called Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. I want you to be really cognizant of words you're reading in these personal development books. That is a very big statement to make, and a lot of people miss it. Your awesome power to change. Not you don't just have power to change. It's actually an awesome gift that when you change your thought, you change the outcome of what you're going to see in reality. It's really powerful. I'm a believer. I believe God spoke things into existence, and he also gave us that same power. We have the power to shift an atmosphere. We have the power to speak life over something that physically is ailing us. I am a big believer that cells carry memory. I'm a big believer that trauma, that I held all that trauma. You ever see someone get craniosacral therapy and they're sobbing? Yeah, Terry Fox. I don't know. Terry and I have to talk like after this because he's shaking his head a lot. Terry, you seem like you know a lot of this stuff, but this stuff is gold when you start to learn it. It is going to change your life so much when you start to learn that he does cranial work. That's crazy. Well, I go to someone every week now for what you call therapeutic massage in Old Saybrook, Connecticut, but he is absolutely way more than that. He goes in, like he did this cranial cradle on me. I didn't even know what was happening. I was like, why am I drooling on myself? And he told me what he was touching. It was the most I go to him every week because has been life-changing for getting what has been trapped in my cells, and my fascia is so tight. And he's starting to teach me why fascia is tight. So I'm not going off on a tangent for no reason. I want to make you understand everything's connected, everything's energy. Everything vibrates. Vibration is a very big part of understanding how you can shift something in the direction you want. Does not mean you can just manifest money and manifest everything you want. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you can learn that you actually have power and that you're not stuck. Once you realize you're not stuck and you were never stuck, you were never in that prison, that your mind was keeping you there, then you start to see things start to really rapidly accelerate forward. So you can have physical releases and healings that are amazing. You can also have emotional healings that are amazing. I've healed from some really deep stuff, but I got to tell you, there's some stuff still there that I'm working on. And the minute I know that if I'm talking about it and I start to cry, that's my sign that my body knows I need to heal. Well, it's the same thing in business. If you can't talk about your Riman business without shaking, then you know you need to be walking around going, I am one of the top ranked leaders, and I have built an incredible team all over the world, and I am so proud of what I've accomplished here at Riman. You're like, Danielle, you're nuts. Nope. That's the power of speaking it out so that you can set your mind up to actually make you take the action. You still have to take massive action. You still have to have perseverance. You still have to push yourself for time management. You still have to get groceries and feed your dog and feed your kids. All those things still have to happen, but you'll have forward momentum instead of resistance. That's critical. So here's the last piece. Changing your paradigm takes a committed decision because it goes in the opposite direction of nearly everything we've been taught. We go to school, we take a book, we read it, we ask questions on the material, and then we go on to another book. The truth is, we can't possibly understand the contents of the book this way. Reading something once and moving on is not going to do it. Our paradigm was built through repetition. What did I say to you earlier? When we hang up here, I want you walking around the house going, Danielle said I'm awesome. I'm freaking awesome. I'm a rock star. You're going to feel stupid. I get it. But you're going to keep doing it until you believe it, until you don't have to forcefully say it and you're just hearing it while you're showering. You're driving around like, I'm awesome. I'm blessed and highly favored. I say it all the time. I get parking spots that no one else gets. You know why? Because I'm blessed and highly favored. I just believe it's the weirdest thing. My kids are like, how is that happening every time I go? Because I believe in good things happening to me and that something great's going to happen. That's Danielle, who grew up thinking the world was ugly and people are dark and there's no good thing for me. Do you see that change? You see the paradigm shift? It wasn't until I changed my mind 31 on that everything rapidly accelerated. And yeah, 8 figures is great, but money doesn't make you happy. I'll tell you what, it solves a lot of problems, but it brings a lot of problems too. And it doesn't kiss you at night, doesn't tell you that it loves you. You're still going to need to love yourself. You can do great things with whatever money comes in. You can pay down that debt. We've done some wonderful things that I'm very proud of for people from what we've earned in this industry. But at the end of the day, the greatest thing I can tell you that came out of being in direct selling is I personally developed into somebody that I am really proud to be. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm absolutely not where I used to be. And that is something to be celebrated. So the little wins that you have today and next week, I want you to share it with your upline, not because you feel, oh, I'm trying to be, I'm do what Danielle said. No, be proud of yourself. There is nothing wrong with healthy pride, meaning encouraging yourself and patting yourself on the back. And we don't go for perfection. We don't go for excellence. We go for greatness. Why? Because when you become great at something, then and only then do you say, now I can move to the next thing. I really want you to focus on just becoming great at coaching yourself, that you are worthy of doing something great here at Riman. That's the first thing I want you to commit to. And the last piece of this is constant spaced repetition. That's the way it's going to change for you. That's the way it sticks. But this makes little sense to most people. They're relating to the way they have been and the way they were educated in the past, when they really weren't being educated at all. They were really just gathering information. You'll see people with very impressive degrees from prestigious universities, my husband's one of them, who are struggling through their life. At one point, he was struggling, even though he had a double major at Rhode Island School of Design. And now, because of his personal development journey, prior to him and I reconnecting all these years later, he's even said that's what changed his life when his life fell apart and he started personally developing himself. They don't have enough money. They don't hold down a good position. If they own their company, they go bankrupt or go out of business. You think they're so smart. How could this possibly happen? The truth is, they're not very smart at all. They've gathered a lot of info, but they don't use it. Their behavior is controlled by their paradigms, not by the information they've got. They're not doing what they know how to do. For some strange reason, they never figure it out. They never stop and analyze their own behavior in relation to what they know. Over the years, I have found that most people who are highly successful have unconscious competence. That's something you guys will learn in another chapter here. They cannot articulate why they're doing so well. They may be multimillionaires and they may have built prestigious organizations, but they cannot transfer this knowledge to their children because they don't know why they're doing it. They'll say, well, I just do it. I have a grandfather like that. I just did it. People think these individuals are pretty smart, but it's got nothing to do with being smart. It has to do with their paradigm, because the paradigm controls us to an enormous degree. I want you to get that. You have some limiting beliefs that you're going to really work on this year. And I actually think you guys could get this done before end of year. We don't have a lot of time, but you can really make a big shift before the beginning of the year. Success in any undertaking totally depends on what's going on inside our minds. It's got nothing to do with what's going on outside, externally. Some people do extremely well, even in the face of bad economic conditions. Even during the Great Depression, not everyone was out of work. Not everyone was broke. Some did very well, earning millions of dollars. Why did they do well? What was going on? Why did a few people win? They built their success in their minds. It has to come from the inside out, not from the outside in. We're being controlled by our outside world because we've been trained that way, and we've been programmed to let the outside world control us. So as much as I'd like to keep going, I know everyone has to get good sleep, good rest, and digest some of this. And I hope you watch this again, and I hope you share this with your teams, because really, truly, it's repetition and a little bit every day that is going to help you become great. And Jen Miller, thank you for, I don't know why you're smiling, and the way you've been, and Terry, who I can see, thank you for that. It really made, from my side, of the camera, made it really great to be here with you guys, because really, truly, I pour my heart out for people, not because I'm trying to make more money in life. I'm not worried about that kind of stuff. What I do now, because I'm turning 50, is I've really shifted to, I just want to pour into as many people, help them become great overcomers, help them become victors, not victims. And once you switch over to that mindset, you're going to be able to do great things in your life for others. And we go to our grave, we don't think about what our awards and what's in the bank. We're thinking about having the people we love around us, and we're thinking about what meaning and what legacy we leave. And you can do that, but you've got to do it for yourself first. Give yourself the gift of mindset training, and then you'll start passing it on. And as you pass it on to your team, you're going to watch some of your little chickadees are going to flourish, and you're going to be blown away that it wasn't about teaching them more about what was in what ingredients or what the prices were or how to do a three-way call. You're going to set their mind free. They're going to be a part of it. And when that happens in your group, you will become one of the greatest network marketing leaders on the planet. It's your choice, though, if you're going to dig in and do this work. So 15 minutes a day is all you need. We all spend stupid time on Facebook, so we have the time. And I hope to guide you and give you a little guidance along the way. That's my favorite thing to do. And I hope this was valuable for you. I love you guys. Have a really blessed up. If I haven't met you yet, I hope to see you next time, and have a blessed night and a restful night, and go out there and kick some butt.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Danielle. This was amazing. Thank you. Have
Thank
a
you
great
guys.
night, everybody.
Have a great night, guys.
Bye.
God bless. Bye.